Adebayo, SDP Presidential Candidate 2023. He's going to be speaking to us as the keynote address giver, Deepening Democracy for a Resilient Nation. Let's know him. A little bit about him that I have here as he walks up to the podium. Prince Adewole Adebayo is a Nigerian leader and the presidential candidate of Social Democratic Party in the 2023 election. Prince Adewole Adebayo was born in Ondo City, Ondo State, January 8, 1972. Between 1973 and 1983, he has attended what he needs as a foundation. He also attended Adewole University, where he earned a law degree, graduated from the Nigerian Law School in 2000, and passing his bar exams. He later attended law school in the United States of America, where he passed the New York bar exam. He's a licensed practitioner, law practitioner of Australia, Canada, United Kingdom, California, New York, and the federal courts in the United States. Prince Adewole Adebayo began his legal career as a litigation officer. He has moved beyond being a lawyer to also being a broadcaster of repute. And today I think he deserves a very loud round of applause because Captain Television is giving us live coverage. He's a philanthropist, sponsors nearly 2,000 young persons into Nigerian and foreign tertiary institutions, in addition to always and has continued to financially empower Nigerians across the country. Prince Adewole Adebayo, who now ran for the presidential election in 2023. I present to you, honorable members, a brilliant mind, known for his deep insights on national issues, a prince, one that can be described as an accomplished Nigerian patriot. Please welcome, most heartily, Prince Barrister Adewole Adebayo.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon, right honorable speakers, deputy speakers, generally the presiding officers, principal officers, ranking members, and honorable members of the Nigerian House of Representatives. It is a great privilege to stand before you today to address this gathering. You can continue your side deliberations because that is the parliamentary tradition. In parliament, one person doesn't talk and the rest just keep watching. There will be caucusing, other things being done by the side. So for the most part, we only speak to the record. Today is a very special day, and it is not a cliche. The greatest ambition of any politician is to be president of a country like Nigeria, and the greatest honor of a president is to address the parliament. So any person who has an opportunity, who is not a member of the House of Representatives, who is allowed to speak to any parliamentary gathering is being given a rare honor that should be respected. I thank you all for the opportunity. But today is even more important because the topic regards how to deepen democracy for a resilient nation. And this was why the House of Representatives was set up at the beginning of Nigeria's sovereign existence. All the agitations in Nigeria, from the time that Abraham Macaulay complained about the Clifford Constitution in 1922, to the complaints regarding the Richards Constitution in 1946, which was a meeting that brought together for the first time Abraham Macaulay, Nnamdi Azikiwe, and Shehu Shagari, among others, to agitate that the Richards Constitution was not good enough. The same thing for the Liberty Constitution and Littleton. Why? The complaint was that these earlier constitutions did not give us a House of Representatives with full parliamentary powers. So when Nigeria was going to attain independence, one of the first things that was agreed at Lancaster House in London was that there would be a House of Representatives that will have full legislative powers to legislate for the good order and good government of Nigeria, peace, order, and good governance of Nigeria. When that was achieved, we knew we were already 90% getting a democratic independence. Every other thing added to that constitution was a bonus, was addition on the basic structure that we will have a House of Representatives elected by the people of Nigeria. And any time the House of Representatives cannot meet, any time that the House of Representatives is not allowed to meet, it means that democracy has ceased to exist. That is why, and that was why, the first action of any coup plotter, the first action of any junta or dictator will be to say the House of Representatives has ceased to exist and they cannot meet again. Because anywhere the House of Representatives will meet, it will mean that the government continue to be in existence. Secondly, in the tradition that we inherited in our journey towards democracy, it was impossible for you to exercise any governmental power or to take any executive authority if you were not first elected to the House of Representatives. Nowadays, we have followed the American system where the executive is separated from the legislature. However, it is still in our constitution that you are qualified to hold any position in government if you are qualified to be elected as a member of the House of Representatives. Therefore, the standard remains that it is difficult for you to call yourself a leader in Nigeria or to call you a leader or an officer of state if you are not, by one way or the other, qualified to be a member of the House of Representatives. So this gathering is a very important gathering because if we are to deepen democracy, we must build institutions. And to build institutions, you must have institutional memory. And the people who are here today are standing in the tradition of building the institutional memory for Nigeria legislative history. And I will tell you that people have given several definitions of democracy. And I would not want to spend your time to be too academic about the question of democracy. But I will say that in simple algorithm, any system that allows people to freely and fairly elect their representative, and for this representative to use laws to govern them and manage their affairs and be accountable back to the people who elected them in the first place, has passed every test of democracy. Therefore, my first submission will be that if we are looking for democracy in Nigeria, we should begin our search from the House of Representatives. I know there are a few senators here, and they will say, why will you say that? Why will you say we should start our search from the lower house, as it's called? Though in our constitution, there's no lower house. The concept of lower house and upper house is only limited to England. However, why would you say we should begin our search from the House of Representatives? Because the House of Representatives is not only representative by name, it is also representative by demography. Because every state, however big or small, no matter the population, high or low, has the same number of senators. But House of Representatives reflects the entire population of the country and is almost supposed to be mathematically equal to the other. Therefore, when you have 360 members of the House of Representatives, each one is representing 1/360 of the country. And if a majority of them agree on any issue, after consulting their constituencies, it means that the nation has spoken. So, now, what do we do with democracy? There are those who argue that democracy is good all in itself, that democracy is an end, that if a country is democratic and that democracy is pure, that in itself is an achievement. However, the utilitarian benefit of democracy is more important than democracy as a concept. Why? Because democracy is a tool for 5 basic things. Democracy ensures that everybody is a stakeholder. Democracy does not discriminate. A Nobel Peace Prize winner, a genius, a professor, and an ordinary peasant, farmer, or fisherman, each one has 1 vote. Democracy recognizes that everyone is a stakeholder. So everyone who is under a democracy can say, I am governing myself. Second benefit or feature of democracy is that democracy allows for dialogue. Because for you to get majority to agree to a measure or majority to oppose a measure, you need to talk. You need to say, I agree with this notion, I do not agree with that notion. For that reason, you ensure that you have dialogue. And this dialogue brings understanding. Because when people talk about things, they may start with disagreement. I don't agree. I will never do it. It will not happen here. But in the course of the conversation, you receive information from the other side, and you may end up with an agreement or a compromise. Sometimes you can start with agreement, but when the detail of the conversation comes up, you realize, oh, this is not in my interest. And for that reason, you will go and say, I am not agreeing anymore. So it brings dialogue. The third element of democracy is that it brings ability to discover talents. Because in the course of negotiation, disagreements, interaction, we start to see the qualities of one another. Not only the rightness, logic, persuasiveness of your point, but I see the qualities that are inherent in you. And when you see the qualities that are inherent in you, then I say this person has a leadership quality. That is why in a democracy, leaders are hardly hard to find. If you look at other systems, like monarchy, oligarchy, dictatorship, leaders only come by accident. Because if it's a monarchy, you have to be born into the ruling house, and all the talents you will have to come from that family. From oligarchy, it has to be a few people. And in the end, democracy will give you the best pool of talents. The fourth benefit of democracy is that it brings agreement. People know that I participated in this exercise, though my own idea is not taken, but I was part of it. In the end, we agree to the rule. Majority will have their weight and minority will have their say. Lastly, the importance of democracy is that it brings finality to issues. If we debate an issue for a long time, as they say in the House of Representatives, you put the question. When you put the question, whoever has it, whether it's nay or yea, that's it. The second thing I will say is that we are asked to build a nation with our democracy. Our democracy is not like the democracy of advanced countries, where the nation is already built and you are using democracy to maintain it day to day. In Nigeria, our democracy is a building block. As at the time we got independence, as at the time we had our own House of Representatives, we had not become a nation. It is through this politics, through this democracy, that we are going to build a nation. And I will conclude by saying, how do you build a nation? You build a nation based on principle. Justice, liberty, fairness, rule of law, and merit. If we agree, then the laws being made in the House of Representatives and the Senate and the other House of Assembly will be laws that are meant to facilitate these principles upon which we build our nation. And I will recommend to you that the Constitution that established the House of Representatives for us also created the fundamental objectives and directive principle of state policy contained in Chapter 2 of the Constitution. And that chapter says that the National Assembly will not make any laws that are contrary to Chapter 2 of the Constitution. And what does he say? He says that will be an egalitarian society, will be a society that will be evenly distributing opportunities, and it will be a society that is based on rule of law, and that will do social investment and will leave nobody in poverty. Today, how far have we traveled? We all agree that we are not where we are supposed to be. This assembly is now called upon to continue a dialogue which will do 5 things for us. 1, the dialogue will be that no matter the fault of our democracy, we must continue to use civil rule and democracy to pursue our national agenda, we should not use any other means to govern ourselves. Second, that we must build institutions. And the first institution to build for Nigeria is that we must rehabilitate the political class. If it does not worry the members here, it worries Nigerians that there is no credible political class anymore. We must rehabilitate the political class so that the people of Nigeria can believe in their leaders. When you go somewhere and say, I am a politician, people should be happy to talk to you. They should respect what you do, the way they respect their doctors, respect their engineers, respect their judges, respect people who are sacrificing themselves. The highest art of statehood is politics. Nigerian politicians must not be content to hear people say politicians have no principles. Politicians are not good. No country that is stable that does not have a well-respected political class. Then after that, we build these basic institutions. One, you must have a strong and resilient armed forces, because the territorial integrity of Nigeria is under challenge. And we must have a strong army that is committed to civil rule, strong navy, strong air force, strong police force, strong security services, so that our map will be a real map. We will not be sharing sovereignty with bandits, terrorists, and outside players. Second, we must build a strong civil service, because the laws that we make, the measures that we take, are to be run by the civil servants. The civil servants are very important, and a strong civil service we must build. Thirdly, we must bring a strong judiciary that is apolitical, that is impartial, that is incorruptible, so that when we disagree and politics cannot resolve those disagreements, we use law to resolve them in a clean and sane and logical judiciary. Lastly, we must build industries, because everybody cannot be in politics. Politics is a special calling for those who are talented. It's not a means of livelihood. So we must build industry so that only those who have talent for politics will join politics, because the rest will have been satisfied with full-time employment, with a career in business, and they won't be forced to join politics because they want to make a living. We need to make sure that the civil space is open, so that every Nigerian will know that I can live, earn 3 square meal, live well without forcing myself to be involved in politics. So in conclusion, I must congratulate you for this reunion, and I believe it's the beginning of the conversation. And after now, we'll reach out to every member here. I thank you for your services to the country, and I pray to God Almighty to spare Nigeria. God bless Nigeria, and God bless the House of Representatives. Thank you very much.